Yeah, what's up guys, it's your boy Shulkumer, and in this video we're gonna quickly take a look at one of the probably easiest keys this season, which is Black Rook Hold. I'll kind of elaborate on the easiest part in a little bit. Here I actually kind of messed up my talents. You don't need to play this one. You don't need to play Disease. You can put it either in here or even in like this spell or something for the affixes if you need. You could also go here for some damage and mana. You could go here. You could do a lot of things with it. You could also just drop your Fade. Fade is always a good option for defense. It all depends on like what level of keys you're doing. You know, if I play lower keys, I usually tend to go for a little bit more damage. If I'm playing higher keys, I tend to go for a little bit more survivability. Although there is like a fine line where you actually need to just maximize damage as well, regardless of, you know, the key level and stuff. But I don't think we're at that point in the season. Definitely not me, at least. So far, all the keys, even with like 20 deaths, have been timed. So there hasn't been need for that on my part. Okay, I didn't want to talk that long about the talents. Sorry, guys. Let's just get the show rolling. I think I remember this key. This key has been done like quite some time ago, probably like 7-8 days ago. I think this was a key where we literally died like 15 times in like the first pack, and then we almost never died again. I could be wrong though. Let's see how it goes. Let's see what's gonna happen. But yeah, basically, honestly, this pack is just hard. Yeah, there's this Soul Blast. It will deal a lot of damage. You have these debuffs. You can see one on the Hunter now, and he's sacked. So I'm just kind of letting it, you know, I'm letting it go. I'm trying to be conservative with my dispels, right? Because he has an external on him. It's honestly quite a tricky pack. There's quite a lot of this damage that's kind of like hard to really tell where it's coming from, but then it just happens and you're like, what is happening? On Fortified weeks, I would strongly advise caution on these packs. On anything else, really, I don't think these should be too big a finisher. And here, DH pulled like way too early. I wasn't even close. I was kiting my ghost, and honestly, you could make an argument that that's on me. You could probably do that. But what this did is it basically meant that like a player died, then we had less interrupts. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, they just didn't use interrupts. I track interrupts on the left, nobody used it. But regardless, I mean, here we can go back. That's the advantage of doing a video like this. Look, we have right now we have interrupt on DH and Hunter, but Hunter is probably too busy trying not to die, so I guess I respect it. You know, I would have probably done the same if I was in his shoes. But anyway, point is, you know, Tank used his interrupt, but DH and Hunter didn't, and basically I just got unlucky that I got the overlap of both casts and I died. It is what it is. Honestly, I was also struggling to keep them alive, so I probably could have popped some defensive and stuff. I don't know if it would have mattered, but yeah, anyway, I think the original mistake that kind of led to all of this is pretty much Tank pulling early, or me running away from the team instead of running in front from the shade. I tried to play it safe, I didn't want to die there, so that's why I did that, although I usually would try to run in front. But you know, with pugs, it's always risky, because sometimes what happens is... Again, no interrupts, by the way. Sometimes what happens is you'll run in front to kite the shade, but your tank isn't ready for that, and then you just pull and die. So I tend to avoid this in pugs, personally. Anyway, this is a whole ass disaster. Basically, the way you play this pack, this is a free pack. This is, you just interrupt the main mini boss. And honestly, this Soul of Echoes is basically the same mechanic we will see on the first boss, so it's literally just run around and like not get hit by the explosions that are gonna happen in the places where you leave them. It's a very simple mechanic, very easy to deal with. You can really like chill with it, and yeah, it's that's pretty much that. Probably the hardest part of this dungeon, maybe? Question mark. It can be hard, Again, you know, when you're playing priest, you don't have many interrupts to help your team, so things can get disastrous. But anyway, 7 deaths from just that, yeah. And honestly, we didn't even lose that much time, so it's fine. Maybe on some higher key this would have been a disaster, but on a measly 22 that hasn't really been an issue. Hunter's been playing with his life a little bit there. That's I didn't even know you can do that, by the way. I thought the frontal is kind of gonna envelop the whole room, so I learned something new by literally just making this video right now. I always thought you have to be on the other side. So what I actually recommend doing is staying closer to melee is a good idea, because that way you can just switch sides, kind of similar to the dragon boss from the Vortex Pinnacle last season. It's like, you know, if you don't want to get cornered by the frontals and stuff, you want to be in a position where you can easily switch sides. Like the length of how long you have to run from being in the middle to being here is just completely different. Like, it's way better to just be close to the boss. But there's another factor here, and that's his sight, and that's why I kind of tend to stay further away. It just gives me like a little bit more room to dodge. And here, very important, popping defensives on this. That's the ability. Let me go back. Soul burst, yeah. So I tend to put barrier for this almost every single time, and pre-rupture, and also pop fade myself. And also what you can do is you can throw a flash kill onto someone, because flash kill through the talent will give you 10% DR. On Tyrannical, this is sometimes the only way to live this, especially if a few ads went in. So ideally no ads go in, and you can deal with it with just some externals and raid cooldown, but if they do, then you kind of need immunities and stuff, and then things get dicey. Overall, just pretty easy boss. Honestly, I'm gonna just skip ahead. It's pointless. And here I was trying out these new 2 trinkets, yeah. Honestly, they're doing quite a bit. Yeah, they're doing quite a bit. This is the Caged Horror. I think that's I think actually that's a trinket from Black Rook Hold, and the other one is from, I believe it's from Ataldazar. I believe it's from Ataldazar. Yeah, it's both are pretty good for damage. If you're purely looking for damage from the trinkets, these two are actually pretty good options. I've gotten some better trinkets nowadays, so I'm actually not even sure what I'm using in M+ at the moment. I got like Mythic pips from this week's vault, so I'm probably gonna be using that. I think that has like a little bit too much overall value. And then probably gonna run with 1 DPS trinket or a trinket that gives me haste. I'm not a big fan of, for example, Waker's Manor trinket is about like absolutely bis in raids because of the ramps, but it's not really that great in keys. Like on-demand int is strong when you can combine it with your ramp, but I just feel like in keys the downtime is too much, even on a 1.5 minute trinket. Of course, that doesn't mean it's bad, by no means it's bad. But in keys, usually you don't wanna, you know, you want trinkets that have like decently high uptime and that provide you with like passive value over time. You don't really want trinkets that are good like right now and then not for like a few minutes. That's kind of the general consensus. Of course, you know, over time you can kind of like figure out for yourself what the trinkets for you are. There's like a lot of different options. It really depends on the key and also what you want to do and what your group struggles with. Is it the damage? Is it the you can see here I popped Fade because I saw I was getting blasted by the what do you call it? Let me see what the ability is called. This is very important actually. I want to go back and talk about this a little bit. The ability is called Arcane Blitz. So there's this mage here. He's here somewhere clamped up. My camera angle is weird, so it's kind of hard to see, but basically, if he's buffed, he has a buff that he applies to himself, and this is why I said I would actually leave Purge for this dungeon and only remove Disease from my talents, if you remember on start. It's because of that. You can Purge his buff, and then he's way less dangerous, and he will not one-shot you even on Fortified keys. Otherwise, it's like 100% one-shot, because he basically doubles his damage, I think. It's like 100% buff, and he can even apply it multiple times. Now, in this party, we definitely have, like, we have 3 ways to remove it, not counting myself, and not counting, like, Arcane Torrent if somebody's Night Elf. So, we have a Hunter, we have 2 Rogues, we have, 2 Demon Hunters, and we have me. So again, 3 without me. And this is just, by the way, this is just like unlucky. This is arrow barrage, from which you can technically move, but I'm a priest, so I don't have time to move from that. And then knife dance on top of that. I probably should have just feared there. I'm not sure if all of those mobs are fearable, actually. No, yeah, that's a good question. If they're all fearable, that's kind of on me. But regardless, like, these things should just be stunned. If you're not stunning these things, you're kind of trolling. It just makes things much simpler. These mobs are pretty much the potentially hardest thing in the dungeon. Again, this little corridor, on Fortified especially, they just deal a lot of damage and it's very quick. It's all very like obvious and it just happens like slowly, but it's still pretty scary. I can see here, yeah, like just been like a real struggle, because frankly I just don't think we did a great job like grouping them up and then like controlling them. They were just casting all over the place, and there you saw Arcane Blitz, but it got interrupted this time. Yeah, just overall pretty scary packs, honestly. It's been kind of dicey, but we managed somewhat, I would say. And that was a nice sigil for the ghosts, I guess. And here Rat is really trying hard to die. I actually like Rat Paladins in the keys. They're not like the biggest blasters, and I also don't think they're considered, like, in terms of just pure DPS, I don't think they're considered to really be up there, you know? I think they have like a problem where they have to pick between single target and AoE quite harshly, and like whatever you pick, the other one gets punished too much. I think that's like their issue, but regardless, what I'm trying to say basically is that was a good save, by the way. There, I just walked behind him and I didn't die, but again, I would have vastly preferred if these things just get stunned from a healer PoV. I think it just simplifies these packs and makes them like redundant if you just control, but you know. What was I saying? Yeah, but the Rat is nice because first of all, Rat is tanky, it has immunity, it has stun, it has AoE stop, it has a sack, potentially bob, potentially spell warding, you know, like a lot of things that just help people, you know, survive different situations, and that has a lot of value, in my opinion. It just has a lot of value in the M+ environment. And here, you can see these small shots, in general, I'd say you don't have to be too worried about them, but they do deal some damage. Especially dangerous during like overlaps. Let's say like you're getting barraged and then one shot and it can finish you off and stuff. You gotta watch out for this frontal here as well. Very scary in this corridor. Again, you know, camera angle diff sort of thing, you know, just kind of want to make sure that you're looking in the correct direction and stuff like that. And then this boss, honestly, pretty annoying boss. Not too difficult, but not too easy either. On Fortified, it's kind of chill because the boss just dies very quickly, so it doesn't really matter. Obviously, on higher keys and on Tyrannical, this boss can be quite a nuisance. You really want to make sure that you're baiting this thing, whatever it's called. You want to make sure that you're baiting it into the like the same corridor of the room, so you don't cover the whole room with a green. This glaive will deal quite a bit of damage as well. It's just something that you have to deal with. And then when he summons the help, you again, one more time, you have to be extremely careful because, again, Arcanist, yeah? Arcanist will absolutely demolish you if he buffs himself and then casts on someone. And then on top of that, you also have to deal with a Vanguard who has a frontal, which I'm assuming melees really hate. I would hate to be like a Mistweaver or a Paladin in this fight, you know, where I have to, you know, deal with all this. But for us ranged, I would say it's pretty chill. And one more important thing that I need to mention is, obviously, you have to make sure that you're spread for the glaive. It's just... it bounces, so if you get hit and somebody's near you, they're gonna get hit as well, and it can like it can snowball really fast. Yeah, it gets difficult to heal, and it's just like, yeah, And there I got a nice bop. Again, this, as I said, I was talking about rat value. Honestly, this guy did pretty good with his externals. I'm very grateful as a healer for players like that. Players that watch their... Usually I notice players that do that are players that have played healer in the past or something. I know I do that when I play DPS. I'm like all over my frames and I use all the externals and sometimes even off heal and stuff. That's probably not the best thing for your DPS playstyle. You don't want to be like too focused on that. You have other things to do, but I always say damage is best prevented, but if you can't do that, then you have to use externals and like stuff like that. So, but ideally you just focus on like interrupt CCs, stuns. Kind of same as, you know, same as health in real life, you know. It's better to prevent it than to prevent things from going bad in the first place than it is to cure them. And yeah, here just be careful for the rocks. I mean, he just walked in and got slammed by the rocks. It happened to me multiple times already, but then I learned and I got really good at doing these rocks. Like, the way I do rocks is I stand in the middle and then I just strafe slightly left or right and it works. I have never gotten hit and I usually make it first, and I'm a priest, so that should never be the case, but I'm just pretty confident in my reaction time, so I do it. Here, great place to pop a little potion, you know, of potion of electricity onto everyone, I call it. Disclosure or whatever, shocking disclosure, I think it's called. You just gotta be careful about these swirlies. Honestly, this pack is pretty free as long as you just keep it like nicely hurdled up, you know, and CC'd. And what the problem is it's afterwards, you know, if it's like a bursting week or again you know, a Spiteful week or something like that, then you have to be careful. Here, I mean, honestly pretty similar pack. Ideally, if you kill the previous pack fast enough, you will get like another, like more cooldown uptime through here. But overall, it's pretty chill. Keep your tank alive, obviously. He's the one that's gonna take the most damage. And yeah, these packs, I love packs like this in every... I wish every dungeon had packs like these that don't like, you know, randomly just kill people and you can pull like 20 mobs and just do like big AoE. As you can see, there is like, these guys are not like just dummies, they definitely do stuff. And you know, and this indigestion, if you guys remember first week of this dungeon, people were dying to indigestion left, right and center. If you guys played BRH quite a bit, and I did, to farm some items, people were just flopping over due to that, which is okay, you know. This dungeon is new to a lot of people, me included, and it's also not really a great indicator to where the frontal is going until it goes, and the camera angles make it difficult to kind of predict that. So yeah. Also, another thing I'll mention, even though it doesn't matter for us as priests, but I mean, there's a lot of like these things to suit here now. I don't know why Hunter is not suiting. Maybe he's deemed it like not worthy of suiting, or maybe he doesn't have it, or maybe, you know, I don't know what the reason is. Maybe he just doesn't think it matters. But I'll always say, like, pressing that one GCD is not really gonna hurt you as much as it will hurt you if the tank dies. So I really like to suit a lot of mobs to reduce the pressure on the tank, especially on fortified weeks. On tyrannical weeks, I mean, you know, usually it doesn't matter, but on fortified weeks you really want to make sure that these things are done properly, because the pressure on tanks is already too high, and you never know, like, you know, when they'll run out of cooldown and juice. I mean, I'm assuming that not everybody tracks every single ability of the tank. Usually I just trust tanks to do their own thing. I track like their major cooldowns. However, I would say that you know, just reducing that margin of error is just a free, like, again, it's a 1 GCD commitment that really can save you from potentially wiping. So in my opinion, that's always worth it, even if you are, you know, one of the top DPSers in the current meta. Again, not relevant if you're playing this, because we don't have the suit, but you know, maybe you'll be playing Evoker and you're watching this video for whatever reason. Maybe you're playing Ardruid and watching this video for whatever reason, and in that case you will have a suit, and it is good to use it here. This is honestly, I really don't even know what to say about these packs. This is just free. Like, it looks great for AoEing, but you actually, I don't think you should AoE here. I think this is a single target fight. You probably want to funnel if that increases your single target damage, but basically killing these bats shouldn't be a priority, especially if you're pulling them like by one, or 2. If you're pulling more, then I would say you'd probably want to kill bats, because they're just gonna keep coming, and if you don't kill these guys fast enough, it's gonna get bad. Basically, the gist of it is you have to interrupt this Fell Frenzy. Fell Frenzy basically gives all the bats extra damage, and if that happens, then your tank is probably gonna die, or whoever gets fixated is probably gonna die. They nerfed this pack, by the way, pretty heavily. This used to be like a very dangerous pack, but after the nerf, when they capped how many bats appear and stuff, I think it got much easier. Anyway, this boss, again, on Fortified, free boss. On Tyrannical, there's quite a bit of things to focus on. As you can see, this knockback is quite dangerous, so you want to make sure that you have everybody pre-atoned and healing as the knockback is coming, just to be sure for any potential overlaps. Hateful Gaze, it's pretty much something that mostly I would say your tank should deal with. The way I would do it is I'd let one player get hit by it, and then I would let tank soak the next one. Or anybody else that doesn't have debuff, honestly. A melee probably, right? Like, as long as you don't get hit twice, you're fine. You shouldn't get one shot. Now, maybe on a super high tyrannical key level, you probably need some externals and defensives, so that's how you would decide who takes it. Like, whoever has a defensive up, they take it. But other than that, like, this boss is pretty chill. It can get chaotic if the baits are horrible, like they are for us right now. Hunter is the only one that's kind of like trying to bait properly in the edge. I've been baiting personally all over the place, and so have other players, so, you know, things might get messy and stuff, but it's really not that big of a deal. Like, honestly, it's not that crazy. It's pretty chill, especially again on Fortified. On Tyrannical, this boss can get quite dicey. That's why I kind of like the lust in this boss, which might sound crazy, but on the last boss it kind of feels wasted, because there's like not really a perfect moment for the lust. Like, a lot of it goes to waste if you lust on start of P2, and then if you lust later, it kind of feels like nobody has cooldowns anyway, so, you know. Yeah, maybe in like a pre-made group you could probably like min-max a lust there, but just in like this type of environment with you know, just random players that don't use communication and stuff, this isn't, by the way, I'm not saying like, you know, people are bad or anything. I don't want to like be misunderstood. This isn't like a skill thing, it's just a communication thing, you know, because people need to be told, you know, hold your, I don't know, 1 minute, 2 minutes for when we're lusting and in pugs. That usually doesn't happen. Like, usually if you say that, nobody listens, and then like the person that has to last forgets to last or something. Like, I've done way too many keys like that. Obviously, as you get higher on a higher level, these things happen like less often, but there's no need. I think bloodlusting third boss is a good idea in my opinion. On the last boss, I think it's nice for healing, because actually the last boss does kind of chuck a little bit. It does deal quite a bit of damage, but yeah, overall I think it's not too dangerous compared to the third boss on Tyrannical. Again, I'm strictly speaking about Tyrannical, even though this key is Fortified, right? So yeah. Anyway, here just honestly just respect the swirly. Move instantly. If you wait, if you greed a cast, you will get like clapped, and it's not worth it. So just as soon as you see it underneath your feet, move. Also, trying to bait, like if you have a lot of melees, trying to bait like outside of melee range is a good idea. And also it gives you more time to dodge, slightly more time. Like these guys are very fast. But yeah, it's just, see, like if you don't move instantly, I even used I think I used feather there. Did I? Maybe not. But it's just like, just move instantly and you're fine. If you don't, things can get dicey. You can see there, DH, maybe he like charged into it or something. Yeah, it happens. It happens. It's fine. Again, it's all about being careful, respecting the mechanic. Because, you know, it's like, do that mechanic and you're fine. Gonna speed it up a bit, guys. Let's skip to the boss. There it is. Okay.
Fiends, you shall never have our world.
Yeah, I was drinking there, so I was just telling them that they can go. So a few things to pay attention here in phase 1. So again, I wouldn't use PI for this. Even if your people are popping cooldowns, I don't think it's really good. Unless you're doing like a key that's so high that you want to burn out of this first phase so fast. But overall, just like keeping people topped will prevent them from getting one shot to these glaives. And then just like dodging this glaive that's been running around the room. It's very important. So what happens now is he'll go here and he will so this first shadow bolt volley is the most dangerous one, guys, because the reason is like this is before we get a buff from the NPC, and he's gonna hit us with this very hard, and as you'll see in a little bit, we're gonna get a buff. Yeah, there it is. And that buff basically like makes us much stronger, so that ability becomes like exponentially less dangerous. And that's why like it's a good idea. It seems like a good idea to bloodlust now, right? Oh, you just got a buff, let's BL. Well, the problem is he goes into the swarm form and then you get cucked. Like you have bloodlust and cooldowns and he just disappears. So ideally, maybe hypothetically, theoretically, whatever you want to call it, it's probably best to lust right after he comes out of here. But then it's weird because everybody has to hold their cooldowns for almost 2 minutes. So I was theorizing that maybe like if you have pre-made team, what if you lost at like 2 minutes? Like you lost, sorry, not lost, yeah, you lost at 2 minutes, and people usually like their 2 minutes and 1.5 minutes and start and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's probably not that level of min-maxing is probably not needed for this boss. Honestly, he's not that hard. You know, just damage. You can see he's melting again. It's fortified on tyrannical. Don't underestimate his. Like, don't throw radiance or steel willy-nilly, because you will need them. This guy does like a pretty high amount of damage, and you also need to focus the swarm quite a bit as well. So as long as people kind of respect that and use their defensives, it's pretty chill. Anyway, guys, I hope I'm gonna show a damage breakdown, unless I get distracted by some items or something. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. It's a pretty good key for Vio, honestly. This one, it gives you like a decent. It's pretty easy, so it's a good key to do like yeah, there it is, the damage breakdown. It's a pretty good key to get some Raya because it's honestly pretty easy, and really it's great for that. And as you can see, like Vessel of Skittering, 7.5% of my damage, Caged Horror, 7.5% of my damage. So basically, I think it's doing 15% of my damage passively. That's pretty great. And keep in mind that this dungeon was mega scuffed. Like I died so many times randomly, whether by my fault or somebody else's, that doesn't matter. But I died a lot, which obviously is gonna drop the value of these because I'm casting less, I'm less in the fight. So this will be even more. I've done some keys where these two trinkets would be like 25% of my damage. I'm not saying use them. This is, again, this is purely for damage if you just want to speed like things up and if you feel like your Rook likes damage. For survivability, there are better trinkets out there. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. You know, leave a like, subscribe, let me know what you think about the videos, and I hope to see you on the next one, boys and girls and everybody else. Thank you.